As First Lady, Pat Nixon started the great American tradition of opening the White House gardens to the public each spring and fall. And in Southern California, Pat Nixon began another garden tradition when she helped design the stunning rose gardens, which now bear her name, at the Richard Nixon Presidential Library and Museum in Orange County. Every year, thousands of guests enjoy the Pat Nixon Gardens that celebrate the Golden State's own unique horticulture. The temperate climate of Orange County, California, allows every type of flower to flourish. In the Nixon Library's California Formal Garden, Queen and Senegal palm trees, brightly colored azaleas, orange kumquats, formal hedges, and bay laurel trees are mirrored on each side of the garden that surrounds the serene reflecting pool. At the end of the California Formal Garden, a bed of the All-American Rose winner, Mr. Lincoln, releases its sweet fragrance throughout the Pat Nixon Amphitheater. The amphitheater, which my parents, Julie and David Eisenhower, officially dedicated, along with family friends Dolores and Bob Hope, is home to hundreds of events each year and features the gazebo my Aunt Tricia and Uncle Ed were married under during their White House Rose Garden wedding. The Pat Nixon Gardens are filled with All-American Rose winners. The yellow and pink-edged Peace Rose, the most popular rose in the world, surrounds the amphitheater, blooming each spring in delightful color. The First Lady's Garden features fragrant rows of roses and holds a special place for the official national flower of the United States. Pat Nixon is the only person ever named Patroness of the American Rose Society. In accepting the honor, she said that she shared in the universal response of admiration for the rose in all its numerous varieties and full spectrum of color. The Pat Nixon Rose, named for my grandmother while she served as First Lady, is prominently featured throughout the Nixon Library's Pat Nixon Gardens. The dark red Floribunda rose is usually the first to bloom in the gardens in March, just in time to celebrate her birthday. In the gardens, library visitors can relax on the same sturdy white bench enjoyed by Pat Nixon as she, surrounded by Girl Scouts, dedicated the gardens in 1990. Guests can take in the beauty of roses named for Lady Bird Johnson, Betty Ford, Rosalind Carter, Nancy Reagan, and Barbara Bush. Each of these First Ladies have personally visited the Nixon Library to plant and enjoy the rose named for them. Several heritage trees are featured on the grounds of the 9-acre Presidential Library. The enormous California pepper tree has stood in front of my grandfather's birthplace home since 1912, when his father, Frank Nixon, planted it the same year he built the humble white farmhouse, which is now a National Historic Landmark. Another heritage tree, the Magnolia Grandiflora, now grows next to the Nixon Library's full-size replica of the White House East Room. While First Lady, my grandmother grew a seedling from the famous Andrew Jackson magnolia that once spread its branches on the White House South Lawn. This magnolia tree was transplanted from that tree, and today its branches shade the library's White House East Room replica. My grandmother was an enthusiastic gardener who enjoyed growing flowers and vegetables, and while she appreciated the honor of having a rose named for her, I don't think she could have ever imagined an entire garden named for her that thousands of Americans enjoy each year. This is Jennie Eisenhower for the Richard Nixon Foundation, and thank you for letting me share with you the beauty of the Pat Nixon Gardens at the Richard Nixon Presidential Library and Museum. Come visit us in Orange County, California very soon.